Hey there, guys. How are you? Welcome back to a brand new live show here on my second channel. I hope you guys are enjoying it thus far. I'm sorry I didn't make one yesterday. What happened was there was some storm somewhere and it messed up the internet, so it was going at like 1997 dial-up speeds. I was going to get on AOL Instant Messenger and ask Jeeves how to fix it. So yeah, that's why we're doing it tonight, a day later. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you grabbed your popcorn, something cold to drink, 3 ice cubes, no more, no less, or a delicious caffeinated beverage such as this right here, which I will be utilizing. That is a tasty beverage. So yeah, there's a ton of things I want to talk about today. Some movie news topics. And also, if you guys are on YouTube right now, which I guess you are if you're watching this live stream, question for you. Did they fix the YouTube subscription box? I was just checking like 10 minutes ago and I noticed that YouTube was telling me that I had no subscriptions, even though I had like 500. So yeah, I'm curious if they fixed that. I'm not quite sure. Let me know. But yeah, thanks for joining me, guys. Hey there, guys. Hi, Disney Endings. Hi, Bradford Perkins. Hi, Cheesy Burger Boy. Holmes Kid, Mr. Drown, Skytrend, FG. These are crazy names. What are you guys doing? So what do you guys want to talk about first? There's so much to dive into. And by the way, before we do any of that, when I made the thumbnail for this movie news episode, I actually made it like 2 days ago, and a lot of new things have happened since then. And if you guys haven't already, make sure you go watch my brand new video talking about the brand new Batmobile that was just officially released by Matt Reeves. So I have a whole video dedicated all to that. That's over on my main channel, the Flick Pick. The link is down below. If you guys are watching this, I'm sure you know where to find my other channel. So yeah, go watch that. And since I already talked about that so much in that video, there was no reason to do it again in this live stream unless you want to ask me, in which case I had nothing better to talk about. Cheesy Burger Boy. Hey, John Silva Valdez. Hi, John. This is the way. I just watched your Batman video. Well, thank you, man. Yeah, it's a good time. I love talking about the Batmobile. I actually have I bought a Batmobile when they released the Justice League. They came out with this RC Batmobile. It was like $250 2 years ago. And I bought it, and then I kept it in a box. I moved, and then I forgot I had it in storage for 2 years. And then just a few weeks ago, I took it out of the box. It's really cool. It lights up, has like fog that comes out of the back part of it where the flames shoot out. You control it with a really crappy app on your phone. It's a good time. I will show it in a video at some point. If you want to see a quick glimpse of it, you can watch my new movie news video over on the Flick Pick channel. So, yeah, I do want to show it off more in detail coming up. Thank you for the super chat, Carter Lovejoy. Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. Oh, Smash Mouth takes me back to 1999, a simpler time. And it also always reminds me of Shrek. And speaking of super chats, on the last live stream, there was a lot that I couldn't get to in time. I have them written down right here. That's how I do things. Yeah, I write them down on a piece of paper. I think I can read my own handwriting. So towards the end of this live stream, I will get to those. But along the way, I will answer all new super chat questions because I do appreciate it. It does keep the live stream alive and going and motivated. And it does help pay for things like this, which do keep me alive. Honestly, caffeine is the only thing keeping me alive. I don't know how, but it's still doing it. It's so good. It's so good. All right, guys, let's talk about some movie news. And what I do is I ask you guys, whatever topic we're on when it comes to the movie news during the live stream, just comment about that topic until we get to the next thing. And then by the end of the live stream, we will answer everything and anything with the random questions. You guys know how this goes. So the first thing I want to talk about is Emperor Palpatine, I guess, was a clone in Star Wars Episode 9. Yay! If that movie couldn't already be more of a mess than it was, well, now they're sort of retconning the mistakes that they made, and now they're coming out with this novel, which I guess does give details and insights that Emperor Palpatine was in fact a clone, which for some odd reason, when I was watching Episode 9 in the theater, I just assumed he was a clone, seeing how Darth Vader threw him down that ventilation chute and he turned into particles and blew up. I just thought he was a clone. It just made sense, and I guess they deleted a scene in Episode 9 where they give a little more detail on that. I don't really care, to be honest with you. Episode 9 was a mess. And I think the least of my worries was Palpatine being a clone. Like, whatever. I thought he was just a waste in that movie, and it was sort of like an afterthought. After The Last Jedi, they're like, what can we do to make a bad guy again? I know, bring back Palpatine. How? I don't know. But we'll make it up as we go. And whatever we don't explain in the movie, we'll do it in the novel 6 months after the fact. And that's what they're doing. Which to me is pretty lazy. It's like, why didn't you just dedicate 5 more minutes in your film to explaining this plot and maybe making things make a little more sense than making it feel like this disjointed mess? But then again, when your screenplay is written by the same guy who wrote the Justice League, well, you're probably going to have a mess of a movie. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about Palpatine being a clone in episode 9. It's bizarre to me. David Dillon donated super chat. Thank you. Hey John, your thoughts on No Time to Die? Don't worry, we're going to talk about that bit of movie news in just a few seconds. I promise you. But first, I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to get your thoughts on Palpatine being a clone. Justin Cordero, yo boy, to Palpatine being a clone. It was weak, even though it makes sense. It's just still kind of sucks. They played it really, really safe. After Star Wars 7 and 8, I didn't even bother with 9. I don't blame you. It was a mess. Honestly, having Palpatine being a clone just makes it even more confusing. I agree. Thoughts on Billie Eilish's new song for No Time to Die? Don't worry, we're going to talk all about No Time to Die in just a few minutes. My back hurts. Come elbow drop my back, John. Epic elbow drop. Anytime. Hey, John. Cheers from Brazil. Are you going to shoot more movie nights? I might. Will Star Wars abandon the trilogy model? Have you heard the news about the High Republic film? Thoughts? Sorry, caffeine made me burp. I haven't heard a lot about the New Republic film. I don't know any details. At this point in my life, I'm sort of burnt out from Star Wars. All my hope, all my dreams, all my aspirations, all of the anticipation I normally would have for Star Wars films is sort of dissipated. And you know what? I'm just going to wait until the next trailer, and we'll see how I feel at that point. Episode 9 should have been split into 2 movies. I completely agree with you. I don't know why it wasn't. You think Disney, wanting to cash grab like they typically do, would have split the movie into 2 parts, but I honestly feel like no one cared, and they were like, how can we wrap this trilogy up as quickly as we possibly can and cut as many corners as we can just to get this done and move on with it? And I think that's what they were doing. I personally think they should have just made it 2 parts. That would have made a lot of sense. And it also would have gave them a little time to breathe in between each part. So, yeah, I do agree with that. I'm so tired of the whole clone thing. Lazy writing, but I love Kylo Ren in the film. I like Kylo Ren, too. I've always enjoyed his character. He's sort of a coward, and I like that. It's at least that was a different take. Yeah, the clone thing is sort of lazy. It's like, okay, I don't know how we're going to bring the person back from the dead, but hey, make him a clone. Okay. Yeah, it is sort of lazy. It's like their get out of jail free card. Night King, thanks for the super chat, man. They copied Dark Victory where they had multiple. I assume they had multiple Emperor Palpatines in Dark Victory. I don't read the Star Wars novels. I just watched the film cinematic universe of Star Wars films. That's all I know. As far as the novels, I know there's some great novels. I don't keep up with them. I wouldn't even know where to start. So that's where I'm at. Lee Cameron, thanks for the super chat, Lee. To me, the original Spider-Man movie is the best. Good pacing. It is important to me, and it's more rewatchable than the other Spider-Man movies, in my opinion. Well, we weren't really talking about the first Spider-Man movie, but if you want to go there, we can go there. Yeah, I liked the first Spider-Man movie. It was like the first really well done superhero film that was like a big success, that just went bigger than most people thought it would, and that's what sort of inspired the whole comic book genre of films to come after that. That was right around the time that X-Men came out, but Spider-Man was the first huge, gigantic success. I like it. I like Tom Holland as Peter Parker more than I like Tobey Maguire, just because Tom Holland doesn't look like he's 47 years old, playing a high school kid. But yeah, I like, when it comes to the Raimi films, I actually enjoy the second film. As much as I like Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin, itsy bitsy spider, I just hated his Power Ranger suit. It always took me out of it. I was like, I'd rather just see Willem Dafoe without the suit on. He's more menacing than that big plastic suit. Yeah, never was a fan of that. Hey John, if you use, Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, John, if you are using a Yeti cup, should it still be 3 ice cubes, no more, no less? Yes, no matter what, I don't care what kind of insulation your cup or thermos has. It's always 3 ice cubes, no more, no less. It doesn't matter. It's about 3, okay? That's the perfect number. You have to understand that. It doesn't matter what kind of receptacle device you put it in. 3, no more, no less. And I currently have no ice cubes in this. But thank you for asking. All right, guys, so those are my quick thoughts on Emperor Palpatine being a clone. Who cares? But I just thought it was sort of lazy that they admitted that after the fact. The next thing I want to talk about here is some Indiana Jones 5 news. So I guess Steven Spielberg is kind of hanging up his coat, and he wants to give over the title of director to the new Indiana Jones 5 to somebody else. And it's rumored that James Mangold is going to be the guy to do it, and that's fine by me. And I was actually looking for where I had this. I guess I lost it. Anyway, I thought that was sort of interesting. So, in my opinion, I think Steven Spielberg is sort of just tired. Like he's ready to move on to something else. And right now he currently is directing a musical. And if he'd rather direct a musical than the next Indiana Jones 5 film, I'm glad that he's giving over the directing position to someone else who's probably has a little more motivation and wants to really take the material and do something different with it. Because I think Spielberg's just tired. He's done. And to be honest, I haven't really loved many Steven Spielberg films in the last decade. I mean, I don't think he's really directed anything phenomenal since the early 2000s, like Catch Me If You Can or Minority Report. But after the last Indiana Jones debacle, Indiana Jones Kingdom of the Crystal, who cares? It's an alien skull. I'm fine with someone else directing the Indiana Jones films, and if it's going to be James Mangold, that works for me. I mean, that's the same guy who directed Logan, right? So if you can take what he did with Logan, that grittiness and that heart, and combine it with something like Raiders, you might have one of the best Indiana Jones films of all time. And I think that's exactly what this franchise needs. It needs new life injected into it. And if that is true, I think that's a perfect director for this film. I can't imagine anyone else. And also, he just directed Ford v Ferrari. It's a race car film, and it's a well done film. But I don't think that directly relates to an Indiana Jones film. I would hope it's more along the lines of what he did with something like Logan. It doesn't need to be rated R. If it is, that's fine by me. But I don't think it's necessary to have a rated R Indiana Jones film. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about James Mangold possibly directing the next Indiana Jones 5 film. I'm looking forward to it. That gets me more excited for it. And I'm just curious to know what you guys think of that. MacMan78, would you enjoy seeing Sam Raimi Spider-Man in the MCU? Maybe for a Dr. Sleep movie with Raimi. Not another Spider-Man movie. We can pass on that, but thank you for the super chat. Mangold is a great director. I think he would do well as a director. Ready Player One or One may not be the best, but so much work went into that film. Oh, I completely forgot about Ready Player One. That's how forgettable I thought that film was. I did a review. I thought visually it was fun, but everything great about that film, the only reason anything was fun to me was because it was something taken from a better film, like the DeLorean or King Kong or whatever. As far as that film went, it just sort of felt soulless. I was honestly surprised and shocked at how mediocre that film was. I wish Logan had other X-Men or villains show up in it. I wish Logan had other X-Men. Yeah, the thing about Logan, though, it was sort of the final chapter in Wolverine's story. So I think introducing too many other characters, I don't think it was necessary. And also, I think they would have wasted those characters. I guess not. Maybe they could have introduced a few other characters. But I really don't think Fox knew where they were going with that universe yet. So they didn't want to inject a character in there that they didn't know what they were going to do with in another movie. And now Disney owns the X-Men, so now it can be anything. And they can recast Logan. In my personal opinion, I always thought Tom Hardy would make an amazing Wolverine because I think he almost looks more the part than Hugh Jackman ever did. as far as like body shape goes. Wolverine to me was never like this tall, lean, muscular guy like Hugh Jackman was. Hugh Jackman was great as Wolverine, but for me, I always imagine the on-screen version of Wolverine sort of being like the build of Tom Hardy as Bane. He's sort of hunched over and muscular and a little bit hairy and just looks almost grotesque, like a guy who looks like he hasn't taken a shower in a couple of days. So yeah, that's what I want for the next incarnation of Wolverine. Let's see what else we got here. Logan is the best Marvel film ever made. That's that's arguable, but it's definitely in the top. It's definitely in like the top 4 or 5. Definitely probably the best rated R Marvel film ever made. That's for sure. Azim the Dream Reviews. Thanks for the super chat, Azim. Hey, John, do you think films are better with a standalone ending or some that set up a sequel? Case in point, Jurassic Park has a standalone ending, while Fallen Kingdom, in my opinion, sets up Jurassic World 3 in an intriguing way. I'm going to disagree with you on that. I'm going to disagree with you on that. Fallen Kingdom, I thought, was like the least exciting way to set up another movie. It's like a little clone girl who pushes a button and then everyone looks at her as she basically dooms everyone in society by releasing dinosaurs into the public where they're going to go eat small children playing at some park somewhere. And she goes, "They're just like me. Boop." And they watch her do it, and then the dinosaurs escape. What kind of adult supervision is that? No, you take that little girl's hand, you smack it like that, and you say, "No, clone girl, get back in your cage." So as far as a film with a standalone ending, it just depends on the film. Like you could say a film like The Dark Knight had sort of a conclusive ending, right? Like they could have just ended it there and it would have been like, okay, Batman's on the run, he's a vigilante. Or you could say, oh man, I can't wait to see what happens in the next film. So I like endings that can be conclusive, but at the same time, they leave it open to a little bit of interpretation. Or if you want to make a sequel, you can do it. There's a little bit of room, but I like a little bit of a movie that can just stand on its own, right? Like just make it a standalone film. If you don't ever make a sequel, it feels like a conclusive film. All right, the next one. I can't read this. R.S. Steelery. But anyway, welcome. Don't get scared. Thanks for becoming a member. Thank you for that. And if you guys didn't know, right now on YouTube, there's a new feature. It's right under the video where you can click join right beside the subscription box where you can join my channel. And what that does, it gives you amazing perks. It's just like Patreon, basically, but it's on YouTube now. So if you join right now on YouTube and you become a member of my channel, both of my channels have this, but you get all the same features that I give away on Patreon, such as a podcast. It's a bi-weekly podcast. It's also an audio version, a video version. You also get special live streams, and you get a Q&A where I guarantee to answer every single question you ever ask. And I post mini vlog videos, like mini flip trip videos, just weird stuff that I don't put anywhere else. So yeah, that's the benefit of becoming a Patreon member and also joining the YouTube membership thing. So if you do, I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you on there. It's like a small little community, and I like it. So don't get scared now. All right, guys. Some random questions here. John, answer me, homie. If you were able to create your own series movie, what would you do that no one has done before? My own serious movie. I'm sorry. I would make a movie about a sociopathic character who's also very intelligent, and what he does is he has this niche, and he starts filming crimes at night, and he sells these videos to the news, and he makes money. I think that'd be a really... I'm describing Nightcrawler. I'm sorry. I think if I can make any serious film, I would like him to make a film sort of like in the same genre of bank robberies, heist films, something along those lines. I think that's my favorite, like one of my favorite genres when it comes to drama is something that relates to like bank robbery, right? So something like Heat meets Point Break, something like that. That's what I would like to do if you gave me an unlimited budget. That something along those lines. All right, guys. The next bit of movie news I want to talk about, and feel free to chime in as I talk about it and ramble on for the next few minutes. So I guess due to a certain virus going around, and I can't even say the name of the virus, or else YouTube will demonetize your video because that's just how YouTube is. So I won't say it, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. The release of James Bond, the film No Time to Die, has been delayed, and it's being pushed back to next November. So like a 7-month delay on the new James Bond flick, which was supposed to come out in April. That makes me sad. That makes me really sad. Now, the reason for the delay, there's a few reasons here. Obviously, they don't want other people to attend the movie theaters in other countries and pick up this virus. And also, money, right? If less people go to the theater, your movie makes less money from them. So from a business standpoint, I understand the delay. And I'm really curious to see how the new Disney film Mulan does, which is primarily targeted at the Chinese audiences, which none of them are going to the movie theater, and it's not being released there. Or maybe it is being released there. I'm not sure if it is, but if it is, no one's going to go to the movie theater to watch it. So yeah, this new James Bond news sort of, it upsets me a little bit. Like, I don't want to wait 7 extra months. I was looking forward to this film. It looked like a cool conclusion to the story, and I was curious to see if the new villain was going to be Dr. No, and because the title's No Time to Die, and it sort of feels like that's where, if you put 2 and 2 together, I assume the new villain was going to be like a rebooted Dr. No villain. But man, yeah, 7 months. 7 months. Now, if this was like the new Batman movie, I would just lose my shit and scream until I passed out and someone woke me up. But you know what? I guess we can wait. I'm curious what you guys think. Damn5271, thanks for the super chat, man. I will do it because you gave me a great super chat here. My name is Morgan Freeman, and No Time to Die has been delayed. You either get busy living or you get busy dying. Okay, you know it's a shitty Morgan Freeman impression, but I hope you enjoyed it. So yeah, I will answer some of these in just 1 second. No, I won't. I'm not going to say the name of the virus. I don't want to get demonetized. YouTube already pays me nothing. Imagine getting paid less than nothing to make YouTube videos. What are your thoughts on Sam Raimi directing Doctor Strange? You guys have asked that 800 times. I think it's a good choice. That excites me. I think it'll be stylistically fun. And the thing I think missing from a lot of Marvel films is they lack a little bit of style. Like, they all feel like a Marvel film, especially like the color grading and the color palettes in them. That's been my least favorite thing about most Marvel films that are actually produced by Disney. The Fox ones actually look stylistically intriguing. But yeah, I like it. Looking for questions here. They should rename No Time to Die 007 really late. What are your thoughts? Oh, sorry. The delay is all about money. I agree. Waiting on that new Bond so bad. I agree. Yeah, and someone asked me earlier about the Billie Eilish. Her last name is, I think, is pronounced Eilish. Who cares? Her theme song, I think it's okay. But in my opinion, the best James Bond theme song of all time was by Chris Cornell for Casino Royale. That Bond theme always just gave me goosebumps, got my nipples hard, and made me want to go to the gym and work out in a tuxedo, right? That was the most amped up Bond theme I've ever heard, and I'm really upset they never brought Chris Cornell back to do another Bond theme. All right, let's answer a few super chats here. Mo Tom Eddie, 1997. John Krasinski and Emily Blunt as Mr. Fantastic and Susan Storm for the MCU. What do you think? And I almost watched through The Office for the 3rd time. Am I insane? No, you are not. I probably rewatched The Office 15 times. I remember there was a time whenever I ate something, whenever I came home with like takeout or pizza or whatever, the only thing I would watch would be The Office because it was like the perfect thing to watch as you eat. Does anyone else know what I'm talking about? So casting them as, I think John Krasinski definitely as Mr. Fantastic. Emily Blunt, I don't know if she would want to do Susan Storm. Maybe she would. I think that'd be a great casting choice. I do. I'd actually like to see both of them. And let John Krasinski just direct the Fantastic Four movie. The guy can direct a movie. If you watched A Quiet Place, he knows how to direct. So that could be really intriguing as well. Rando Commando 41, thanks for the super chat. Rando Commando, favorite Brad Pitt movie? What an intriguing question. I'm probably... Hear me out for a second as I explain myself. I would probably go with Troy. You sack of wine. Troy to me is like the quintessential swords and sandals film that's a little bit corny and hokey at times, but man, visually stunning, and the battle sequences in that film, I don't feel like they've topped a lot of the things that they did in that film today. And you won't get many films like that anymore. They don't make films like that because the caliber and scope of that film it would be so expensive to make today. But man, I love Brad Pitt as Achilles in that film. That's why no one will remember your name in 1,000 years. I love it. And he just has like this bronze tan. But outside of that, with a serious answer, probably I like Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And I also really like Brad Pitt in Seven. What's in the box? What's in the box? All right, let's answer a few questions here. Hey, I just bought Troy on Blu-ray at my local record store for $8. Well, good for you. Yeah, Troy on Blu-ray looks phenomenal. I'm really waiting for the 4K version of Troy. I think that would be magical and mystical. I would love to see that. I want to buy every one of my favorite epic films on 4K. That's what I need. Highly recommend picking up Gladiator on 4K. Azim the Dream Reviews, thanks for another super chat, man, and thank you for the super chats, guys. They do help make the streams possible. It does help. Thank you. They pay for the internet to do these. I didn't mean the girl pushing the button, laugh out loud. Jeff Goldblum's speech and the final shot. By the way, what do you think would have been a better ending for FK? What is FK? What is FK? Oh, Fallen Kingdom. I'm sorry. That movie's so forgettable to me. A better ending would have been just to not, you know what? A better movie would have been not to have your Jurassic Park film take place in the basement of a mansion. Like anything outside of that. If it were up to me, I would have actually, if you want to bring the dinosaurs back and kind of keep the same storyline, I think they should have expanded on what they did in Jurassic Park 2, where they said they were going to set up an amusement park. So I think instead of having this mansion setting, they could have came back and had it take place in this very large amusement park that's set in some city, right in the middle of some large city, whatever. And in this amusement park, it's huge. It's massive. It's like the size of Disney World. And you also have these different environments. So you have like the aquarium environment. You have waterfalls. You have the outside environment. It's just massive. It can be inside of a dome, whatever you want it to be in. And I just thought maybe they could have had maybe like some of the scenes that took place in the basement in Fallen Kingdom in the mansion. They could have had like a laboratory setting in this huge underground bunker in this amusement park or whatever. And then once the dinosaurs break free, they're not just roaming the halls of some mansion with some old guy sleeping, whose granddaughter's a clone once again. They would have been roaming this huge environment. I thought the scope of it could have been bigger. You would have had way more intriguing action sequences. Pretty much anything you want to go down could have went down inside of this. And I just thought that element would have made it better. And also, once again, get rid of the little clone girl. Get rid of that entire storyline. Does not need to be there. It's not a very good idea. So yeah, off the top of my head, that's just my random thought. Gambit X, welcome. Don't get scared. Hey, Gambit X, thanks for becoming a member here on my YouTube. Thank you, man. I appreciate it and look forward to a brand new podcast and a Q&A coming very soon. So yeah, and once again, guys, if you do become a member here or on Patreon, the next Q&A I do will be a private live stream where just us. We just get together. I don't know. It might be 10 people, might be 20 people. I'm not quite sure. But I will, in fact, bring some popcorn, and we'll just talk about movies for like an hour or two. Whatever. And also, Joshua Garrison, thank you for becoming a member, Joshua. So, yeah. He joined Welcome to Ask Me Anything. Yeah. So that's the one perk where I do the live stream. But thank you for joining. What are your top 10 best and worst? It's March. Where is your top 10 best and worst? It's March. Oh, listen, guys. I honestly am going to do my top 10 best and worst. I have it. It's on a list right behind the camera to do. The next video, here's what's going down. The next video will be a Blu-ray video where I'm going to talk about all these new Blu-ray movies. I have like 20 down there. I'm going to give you some updates. I'm going to talk about some other movies that were sent to me. And I'm going to tell you about a really cool app that you guys can join if you want like extra videos where I've been it's a lot of stuff I've been doing extra for this app. It's sort of like a mini version of YouTube where you can upload videos. They're like 1 minute long, and I just basically did a 30-part entire 4K Blu-ray collection video where I broke down every single 4K movie I own. So anyway, I'm rambling on now, but the next video will be a Blu-ray collection update video here over on the FlickPick channel. And then after that video, this weekend, since there's no big movies coming out, there's nothing that I really want to review or need to review. This weekend is when the top 10 best and worst videos will go out. So they are coming. I have them ready to go. So just bear with me, okay? All right. Thoughts on Uncut Gems. Stay tuned for that Blu-ray video, man. I'm going to talk all about Uncut Gems, and I'm going to hold up the Blu-ray and do some Adam Sandler impressions. He called the shit poop. Damn5271, thank you for the super chat. If you had $1 for every time you watch a movie, and though in your mind, how could you make it better, how much would you have? And thought how you could make it better? So every time I got $1, for every time I was watching a movie and thought, how can I make this better? I don't know. I'd probably like $7, maybe $10. I don't know. I don't, honestly, ever since doing YouTube and doing movie reviews, it's hard not to watch a movie with a critical / cynical viewpoint at times. You watch a film and like as captivating as it can be, every great film isn't perfect, right? There's always little things that you think, oh man, if you tweaked that, that would have been better. Or if you would have shot that a little bit differently, I think I would have liked that more. Little things like that. So I don't know, probably like $800,000 at this point if I got $1 every time I thought when I watched a movie I could make something better or it could be better. I think the thing with movies is I think they need to get the most cynical people they can possibly find. Like get a group of guys who review movies on YouTube, right? Get them together and have them do a screen test for the film, right? And keep in mind, these guys coming in there are going to be the most cynical people you can find, but I think that's what you need, right? And get their point, hear their opinions. Don't just get a general audience, because sometimes general audiences like crap. It's a proven fact, right? A lot of films that make a lot of money aren't necessarily good films, right? So I think they need to do more screen testing with like big films, and it baffles me that they don't. You know, think about this. Look at Sonic the Hedgehog. They originally were going to go with nightmare fuel as the design of Sonic the Hedgehog. And I think if they would have actually got fans of Sonic to screen test that film, they would have been like, that looks scary and creepy, and I don't want to watch that. And then they would have saved millions and millions of dollars in backlash had they just done that. That's one baffling thing to me about Hollywood. It's like they don't really want to know people's opinions. The next one comes from David Dillon. I love you, John. Favorite Leonardo DiCaprio film? I have a few. I actually am a huge fan of Leonardo DiCaprio. He's probably like one of my top 5 actors. I feel like if I was an actor, I would always squint and give a performance like Leonardo DiCaprio does. But yeah, a few of my favorites are actually Blood Diamond, Catch Me If You Can, which is like my personal favorite. I sort of relate to that film. I love Catch Me If You Can. Probably my top 20 movies of all time. Nice emoji, Joshua Garrison. Yeah, by the way, if you become a member, you get special emojis. And currently all of my emojis that you can put into the super chat are just Patrick Bateman's face going like that. So I will switch them up eventually. So anyway, another favorite Leonardo DiCaprio film. I like Inception, but I would say my personal favorite is probably Catch Me If You Can, but I really loved his performance in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like he should have. It's a shame Leo didn't win something for that. But I liked his performance in there as well. Revenant, baby. Yeah, The Revenant's pretty good. I never loved the film. I love, from a technical standpoint, I enjoy it. I also like to attempt to understand what Tom Hardy says in The Revenant. Pelch over there. Like, what? But yeah, Leonardo gets attacked by a bear. It was a great performance. His performance in Blood Diamond is underrated. I think the entire film of Blood Diamond is underrated. We actually just did a podcast episode talking about the most underrated films of all time, and Blood Diamond was actually in my top 5 on that. And we talked all in detail about that film. I love that film. No one ever talks about it, but I've rewatched Blood Diamond probably like 15 times. I think it like does everything perfect that a film should do. It's captivating. It has an adventure. It has a heartfelt story. It's filmed well. It's based on real life events. It's amazing. Palpatine's son is actually Palpatine's clone, but gone wrong. At this point, I don't care. Like, I'm over it. Palpatine, he's a clone of a clone of a clone, but it doesn't matter what he was. They terribly wrote him into the story, and it just felt like he was shoehorned in there because they needed a bad guy for the sake of having a bad guy. Best Bond film. My favorite Bond film of all time is probably Casino Royale. I think that is one of the perfect examples. I think it's the best and most perfect example of the most perfect 3-act structured film. You have the first act, which is like, it sets everything up. There's action sequences. And then you have the second act, which is sort of like this slow-paced thinking man's movie, where it's not just action that has Bond defeat the villain. It's a slow a game known as him playing. I just lost what I was saying. My brain hurts right now. Anyway, he's gambling. He's playing poker. And he's betting everything, and he's not shooting people, he's not punching people in the face, even though he's getting poisoned and almost dying. But yeah, it's like this slow-paced thinking man's movie in the second structure of that film. And then you have the third structure of the film where it kind of picks back up and becomes a bit more action, and it has sort of like this love story, and it feels like a completely different film. But yeah, I just Casino Royale is by far the best one for me. I don't think they've topped themselves yet with that same vitality and energy that film had. And just the action sequence with the parkour, where they're running across like the structure of the building, and man, that still blows me away to this day. I really love Casino Royale, but they dragged it out too long. The third act of the film feels like you're almost not expecting the third act of the movie, right? You almost think it's going to be over, and then there's like another 25 minutes. But I like the 25 minutes. And plus, it has one of the best torture scenes of all time. You guys know what I'm talking about. Bane versus Venom, who wins?
It's like a turd in the wind.
Probably Venom, right? He's he's a super-powered creature with symbiote powers. Probably Venom. You know, Bane's really good at putting a bomb in Gotham City and then breaking Batman's back. All right, let's keep going here. Rob K, thanks for becoming a member, Rob K. Appreciate it, man. All right, the next few questions here. Webhead CR7. I'm trying to read. I'm learning how to do it. Hey, John. Wanted to say big fan since 2011. My first YouTube movie review was your Phantom Menace 3D review. Keep up the good work. Oh, man. That's a kind of a cringy review. Yeah, I thank you for that. I appreciate that. I do, man. Thank you. I'm glad I could be your first. It makes me feel a little bit warm and tingly inside. Gambit X, thanks for becoming a member, man. I appreciate that. Welcome to Don't Get Scared Now. Okay, thank you. Yeah, and so look out for the Q&A videos. Damn5271. What Office character are you? Probably Dwight, deep down inside. I'm a little bit of Jim meets Dwight. And a little bit of Kevin as well. I'd probably go with a mix of those two. Dan5271, what would be another good video game that would be a good film? Ooh, that's a good question, and I'm glad you asked that. I've been saying this for years, and it blows me away that we haven't gotten this video game adaptation movie. Zombies Ate My Neighbors would make for a phenomenal video game adaptation. Think about it. Tonally, it could be sort of like comedic, sort of like Zombieland a little bit. You could make it take place in the 80s, so that's huge right now. Everything takes place in the 80s and people eat it up because nostalgia, it's what we all love. You could have some really cool synth music, or you can use some of the music from the game. And the characters are going to be great. And you could also have like the squirt guns could be filled with, instead of water or something, they could be filled with like acid because they have squirt guns in the game. I just think it'd be great. Like Zombies Ate My Neighbors, the movie, that's a movie I want to see. And if you gave me like $15-20 million, that's a movie I'd probably make. And I would have a little kid in there with blonde hair, spiked up, wearing 3D glasses. Absolutely. 3C Films, man. Hey, thanks for joining the live stream, man. Keep up the great work, John. Thoughts on Space Jam 2? Are you at all excited? And is Kobe tribute a must? Yeah, thanks, 3C Films. 3C Films, he's a guy here on YouTube. I've been watching his videos. He makes really good movie news videos. And we also have the same video camera, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so the Space Jam... Listen, I was never a hardcore Space Jam fan. That sounds right. As a kid, like I liked the movie, but the Looney Tunes with basketball players, first of all, as a kid, I never really liked sports, and I never really liked the Looney Tunes. I know that's weird. I was like busy watching Street Sharks and like Mortal Kombat. Interject those two things together, and I think we'd have a winner. But yeah, I'm curious to check out the new Space Jam movie, sure, and I hope there's a cameo for Michael Jordan. And do I think a tribute to Kobe should be in there? Absolutely. They should definitely do something to utilize his name or throw him in there somehow, some way. I think that would be an appropriate thing to do. I think that'd be really cool. So yeah, that would be neat. Hi, John. Well, hi, Christopher. Do you plan on organizing your collection? You mean this collection back here? Probably not. You know what I want? If anyone wants to volunteer their time to come alphabetically organize my collection, I give you permission to do so. But the other weird thing is, when it comes to like organizing my collection, I almost don't like alphabetical order. I like genre. Like I like the genre because when I'm in the mood to watch something, I'm not going to go, okay, A, B, C, D. No. What I do is I say, okay, I'm in the mood to watch an action film or a science fiction film or whatever, and I want to go to that genre. And then whatever mood or whatever movie tickles my fancy, that's the one I pick out. So one day I actually will organize it, but I move so often it's almost pointless. And sometimes it's fun just to go to your unorganized collection and look through it and just randomly find something. I don't know. It's like movie roulette or something whenever you do that. Why do you think DC movies can't get any justice? No pun intended. I think DC movies get plenty of justice. You know, just look at films like Aquaman or Wonder Woman. They made a lot of money. People sort of enjoyed them. The Dark Knight films critically were like amazing and people loved those and they made a lot of money. It just depends. I think DC is so hit or miss. You know, the big tentpole movies that were supposed to start off this new universe sort of failed. Like Batman v Superman didn't really work out. The Justice League was a rushed failure. So I think from that standpoint, they need to organize what they're doing and take their time. But yeah, I think DC is a hit or miss at best. They need to just, I think what they're doing now is they're going to focus on standalone films and then later on focus on like the shared universe aspect. Nightcrawler or Shawshank Redemption. Why do you do this to me? Why do you do this? I think Shawshank overall is a cinematic masterpiece. And I think right under that is Nightcrawler. Like my personal favorite used to be Shawshank. But right now it's probably Nightcrawler. It's just it's a little simpler of a film, but I just like the story of, I love them both. I really do. I think Shawshank is like the masterpiece film, but if I was going to just rewatch a movie tomorrow, it'd probably be Nightcrawler. Zack Tramp, the movie man, who's a member here, and I know that because you have a cool little emoji beside your name. Are you going to upgrade the Star Wars movies to 4K? Probably, if they become cheap enough, whatever. What I'm really hoping for is they finally release the original versions of the Star Wars films, untampered, the original trilogy, unaltered, without George Lucas's little dirty fingers sitting there putting crappy 1997 CG effects in there. I'm hoping that one day we get a conclusive box set of all the Star Wars films on 4K, and we get those original versions, and then you have everything, right? So you have the great films with the mediocre ones. So I think once Episode 9 comes out down the road, I think that's what Disney is planning on doing, releasing one huge box set of all the films. And at that time, I probably would buy the 4K versions of the Star Wars films. Let's see what else we have here. Did you ever see Rocket Man? I did. And I just wasn't into it. Like, I love Elton John's music, but I didn't need to watch a musical movie based on his life. Like, if I went to a play or a live show and it was a musical, like on Broadway, and I watched that, I'd be like, okay, that was cool. But to sit down and watch a movie, I just wasn't not intrigued by it. Off the cuff reviews. Thanks for the super chat. How's your lady friend doing? Can we get a Mark Wahlberg impression? Hey, she's outside walking the dog right now. But say hi to your mother for me. Yeah, she's doing fine. Everyone's fine. So thank you for asking. We actually ate some Mexican food earlier, and it was delicious. DM5271, thank you for the super chat, man. Nightcrawler or American Psycho? You guys are bringing the hard, tough, impossible questions, aren't you? Honestly, you guys know I love Patrick Bateman. Try getting a reservation at Dorsey now! Oh, man. Don't just look at it. Eat it. But honestly, I think Nightcrawler is one of the most rewatchable films for me. Like, I will leave it at that. American Psycho influenced me. It's probably my favorite dark comedy of all time. And some of the internal thoughts that Patrick Bateman has, I have some of those. Not the weird ones, not the violent ones, but the other ones. Like the opening scene where they're going to sit at their table, and he's like, a wave of relief washed over me when I realized our seats are good. Or when he's looking at the business card and he almost loses his shit. He's like, oh my God, it even has a watermark. Like, I've looked at things like that and thought the same thing. like whenever you see someone like that has like you come up with an idea, but someone's idea is slightly better, you go, oh, I'm so jealous of it. And internally, that's what you're thinking. And also, using an excuse to have to return some videotapes will get you out of everything. But you might want to modernize it and say, I have to return some Blu-rays or something. But then again, no one's going to believe you anyway because video stores don't exist anymore. So, yeah. All right, the next question is from Joshua. Do you ever feel a dead cat to... Oh, man. Yeah, the dead cat at the ATM. Yeah, do you ever want to feed a dead cat to an ATM? No, I don't. That's one thing I don't want to do. But I do want to get naked and run around with a chainsaw. Don't judge me. Escape from New York or Big Trouble? Definitely more of a fan of Escape from New York by John Carpenter. Dude, I've loved that film. I have always loved that film. Something about the tone and that synthy 80s music, man. And just like, it sort of has like a film noir aspect to it. And something about a character wandering around like a city at nighttime. I've always loved that. Like, that's the perfect setting for a movie, in my opinion. That's probably another reason I really love Nightcrawler. Or a film like Collateral. It's a film that primarily takes place at night with dark, abandoned city streets. I love that. I love that visual. So, yeah, that's why I've always really liked Escape from Invisible Man. By the way, if you haven't watched my review of The Invisible Man, well, go check it out over on the Flickpig channel. All right, let's dive a little deeper here. Thoughts on BT Bob from Fight Club from Russ Rogers. Thanks for the super chat, Russ Rogers. Man, Bob's bitch tits. I all I can do is tell you, for some odd reason, I was always envious of Edward Norton when he got to hug Bob from Fight Club. It's getting weird tonight. All right. I'm trying to catch up on the super chats, guys. Trust me. Juan Rosales, Zack Snyder or J.J. Abrams? I would probably go with. You know what? That's a good question. I'll tell you why. Because they're both hit or miss directors, right? They either make a phenomenal movie or they just make an atrocious pile of crap. So for me, it just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. You know, when it comes to Snyder, like 300 was visually stunning, and it was like a really good film that for its time. And then Watchmen at times was also really good. I think overall Zack Snyder's best film was the Dawn of the Dead film. To me, that was the best. Let me see. I'm just making sure of something here. Yeah, I would say my favorite Zack Snyder film was probably Dawn of the Dead. I think that's the film he got perfect, right? I don't really have any complaints when I watch that film. But J.J. Abrams, I liked the first Star Trek film, and I'm trying to think of it. Like, I think Episode 7 was okay. Like, he did what he could, maybe. But then again, I don't know. That's tough. Who do you guys like more, J.J. or Zack Snyder? Azim the Dream reviews, best advice you can give for a new YouTuber like me. You know, that's a good question. And, you know, I would say 5 years ago, you had a way better chance of success on YouTube. And that's just the truth. Right now, YouTube is so saturated, and it's not even saturated by other small YouTubers all making the same video about the same topic, because whenever you look up a bit of movie news or a certain movie review or whatever, there's 6,000 videos. But it's not only that. Right now, YouTube it sort of caters to big corporations who also have YouTube channels, like the Jimmy Fallon Late Night Show and things like that. So it's harder than ever to stand out on YouTube, and it's like sort of like the algorithm doesn't favor the smaller guy, right? So on YouTube, if you're already established and you already have a large following and you already get a ton of videos, you just continue to keep going and going and growing and growing. But if you're small trying to do that, it's really hard, and you just have to focus on being topical. You have to find a niche. You need to make at least that one video that random people that would never typically find your channel will search for, and hope that they subscribe to you, and give them a reason to subscribe to you. Give them, you know, if you're talking about movie news, and this has always been my motto whenever I talk about like movie news or I do a review. Anyone can say the bullet points of whatever news article you're going to be saying. But what you have to do is interject your personality and then be relatable and give people something to watch, right? If people want to watch, if they just want the bullet points, they'll go read the article somewhere. But if they want a personality to share those thoughts and actually care, then you need to be yourself and throw something different at viewers. And that's what I've always tried to do. I like to be personable. Like, that's, to me, YouTube is YouTube. That's why I made it. I never wanted to make YouTube videos that felt like I was talking at the camera. I wanted to feel like I've always wanted my videos to feel like you guys were all inside of this room together. How many subscribers do I have on this channel? 94,000. I wanted to always make it feel like there was 94,000 people in this room and we were having a discussion. That's what I always wanted to feel. And then sometimes things get weird and we drink energy drinks and we do cartwheels and it's fun. So yeah. And we give each other hugs at the end of the day. Landon J, Landon L. Thank you for the super chat, Landon. Hey, John, best and worst Conjuring universe film. I've always enjoyed the first Conjuring film. The second one was a pretty good sequel. As far as like all the Annabelle films, they're just bad. They're just all bad. Everything after those first two Conjuring films in that universe, it's just really bad. Like, I mean, some people might say Annabelle 2, whichever one, what was that, Annabelle Creation, or who cares? Some people liked it. I thought it was okay. Like, but I never want to watch it again. So yeah, those are my thoughts. But I am looking forward to the new Conjuring film. Hopefully it's good. Carter Lovejoy, thanks for the super chat. Do you have any Criterion Blu-rays? I do have a few. I don't specifically know every single one I own, but I will tell you my favorite one is probably the Dazed and Confused Criterion release. I love the artwork. I love the cover. I love the transfer on it. It looks great. I highly recommend, if you're going to buy Dazed and Confused, buy the Criterion release of it. That's always been my personal favorite. So yeah, I do appreciate the question. Parasite or Lighthouse? Oh, I think you guys are just going to probably have to watch my top 10 movies of the year. But I think I might prefer Parasite. By the way, guys, speaking of Parasite, I'll give you guys sort of some inside information. I'm doing a special sponsored video with LG. They sent me this really cool projector, which I could never afford, to talk about Parasite, show you guys the movie on the projector, and I will also do my super late movie review of Parasite. It's going to be sort of like a movie night video, so there's going to be popcorn. We'll watch the movie on this huge projector in my living room, which I don't really have space for, but I don't care. It'll be a fun time, so I'm hoping that video should be out like maybe in a week or two. So yeah, look out for that. They're rebooting American Psycho. Who would you cast as Patrick Bateman? I don't think you can recast. Just recast. I want to be young Patrick Bateman. Actually, technically, I'm older than Patrick Bateman's character was in that movie. Isn't that weird? Think about that just for 1 second. Yeah. I think, honestly, if you wanted to reboot American Psycho, you need to take it and put it into a different vibe, a different setting. Like it could be Patrick Bateman, right? I could be Patrick Bateman. I'm like a normal everyday dude who makes YouTube videos. But tell in that point of view, right? That'd be kind of interesting. It'd sort of be like American Psycho meets Nightcrawler, blend those two together. That's really, I'm just describing the movie I want to see our star in. Joshua Garrison, do you ever feel... Oh, I already read that. Joshua. Are you tired of reboots? Yeah, more or less. I am getting tired of reboots, but sometimes reboots are good, right? I'm hoping like the new Escape from New York movie, which is a reboot, is good. It could be. I don't know. Cleese Callan retracted his super chat message. I would have read it, Cleese, but I don't see it in there, buddy. Tom Hardy as Patrick Bateman. I'm going to disagree with that. I don't think Tom Hardy has the right tone to play Patrick Bateman. Like, Jake Gyllenhaal would have been a perfect Patrick Bateman, but he already played sort of like an incarnation of Patrick Bateman in Nightcrawler. Best MCU movie, probably Infinity War. Honestly, it's probably Infinity War. I'd go with that right now. That or Winter Soldier if you wanted to do like a standalone. Bye Bye Man or Truth or Dare? I choose death. What would happen if they rebooted Back to the Future? Oh man, I'm kind of glad someone brought that up because Tom Holland was on a radio interview and he spoke about someone actually approached him with that idea, which let me say this, all right? You cannot remake Back to the Future. But with that said, would it be so bad if they continued the story in a sequel? Right? Listen, you can't take away the originals. They're always going to be there. And I love the concept. I loved the tone. But I think if you wanted to do a sequel to the Back to the Future films, not a reboot, and maybe have Tom Holland play like Michael J. Fox's or Marty's kid, right? They continue the story. And Tom Holland's character has to go back in time to the 1980s when the Back to the Future movies took place in. You can revisit that time period a little bit. He can go to another time period, preferably beyond that, maybe go to the future because I think the future is always much more intriguing than the past. I think that'd be kind of a cool concept. You can bring Doc Brown back once again. 1.21 gigawatts, Marty! I would sort of, I don't know. That sounds kind of cool to me. I just love it so much. I would love to see a continuation of it. If it's done right? The right director, the right story, not some cash grab, piece of crap. But I think Tom Holland would be a great main role for a new Back to the Future movie. Do you watch Star Wars: The Clone Wars? I do not. Dark Fate or The Return of the Jedi? Which one is worse? Or TROS? What's TROS mean? Terminator. Oh, I'm sorry. Dark Fate or Terminator: Rise of the Machines? Which one is worse? I think Dark Fate's worse. I think any Terminator film that tries to undo T2 in the first 3 minutes of their movie is going to be the worst movie. Willem Dafoe as Dr. Brown. Yes, please.
Hey, Marty, come here. I want to show you something.
Yeah, that could be cool. Let's see here. Damn5271. Hey, John, I miss you and the others recreating movie spots. Would you ever do more? You're talking about like the skits and the parodies that I used to do in some YouTube videos. I still occasionally do little ones here and there. Yeah, I want to do more of those. Sometimes I go back and watch those older videos, man. I'm like, that was awesome. Like, something about your creative juices when you're starting out on YouTube are just flowing, and then YouTube does things along the way where they sort of like, they suck those creative juices dry. That sounds weird, doesn't it? But I do want to do more skits. If it ever calls for it, I will do one. It just depends on what it is or which movie it is. The weird thing about YouTube is, though, every time you like do one of those skits or something for a review, it's like no one ever like noticed it. It was just like, okay, let's watch the review. It felt like it was almost in the way of the review. So I don't know, but I always had a lot of fun doing those. And whenever I can utilize one of those old skits or parodies or whatever I made for YouTube, I like to take that and interject it into whatever new video I'm making if it relates, because a lot of people who watch me now probably didn't watch me back then. And so it's always fun to bring that back to life. Hey, John, do you drink G Fuel? If so, what's your favorite flavor? I do not drink G Fuel. I drink Bangs mostly and Monster. That's so good. Do you think Jake Gyllenhaal deserved an Oscar for Nightcrawler? That was 2014. Yeah, probably. I do. I do think I would have voted for him to win. Who won Best Actor for the Oscars for 2014? I don't remember who won. Will you do a Rise of Skywalker Blu-ray flick trip? Maybe not. I don't know. I probably will request a review copy of the film, so I won't need to do a flick trip unless the flick trip goes to my front door or to my mailbox, which could be intriguing. So maybe. I'd love a sequel to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I thought for a long time they were actually looking into doing something like that. Hey, John. I don't get it. Favorite animated movie of all time? For me, it's always been Aladdin. Aladdin to me was always like the magical movie growing up. I loved Robin Williams as the genie. I loved that dirty, lying, street rat thief Aladdin, who, if you do lie your way into a woman's heart, you can get anything you want. And if you find a magical lamp that grants you 3 wishes, you'll live happily ever after. No, I remember actually seeing the Aladdin, the 92 Aladdin film in theaters as a kid. I don't know why. I just remember seeing that movie in theaters. Glenn Swatlowski, best Pacino role versus De Niro role. Well, thanks for the super chat, Glenn. Probably, hoo-ha! Fly, I'm losing my voice. Fly, pelican, fly. I was going to try to do a Scarface voice there. How about you give me a pack of bubblegum and show me how to chew it? I love Pacino, man. De Niro role versus Pacino. I think for me, if you look at each role, each actor chewing up the scenery and doing a role that only they could do, for me it was Pacino in probably Scarface, and then for De Niro it would probably be Taxi Driver. I those are the two roles that to me sort of idolize both those actors in becoming like these amazing actors when I saw them in each one of those movies. So I would, yeah, I'd go with those two movies and those two roles. I'm trying to think if there's another De Niro movie I might not be thinking of. Yeah, I like De Niro playing the taxi driver more than I like him playing like some mob boss in like Casino or Goodfellas. Dr. Loomis here says Serpico. Yeah, Serpico was good. Dog Day Afternoon was kind of a weird movie. There's a lot of bizarre movies Pacino starred in the like 70s. Scent of a Woman is another one I thought was pretty good. But for me, once again, I think like the most iconic role of Pacino is probably Scarface. Oh, what's your most despised movie of all time from Alex Leyva? Hey there, Alex Leyva. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, so the most despised film of all time? I don't know. I really don't know off the top of my head. Like, in recent years, I think the biggest letdown based on pre-established films might be Terminator Dark Fate. As of right now, that might be like the biggest disappointment of a film I've seen in a theater. What is the worst film of all time in your opinion? We sort of just talked about that. What was the best movie you saw in February? The best movie I saw in February, not Birds of Prey. I saw The Invisible Man, but I didn't love The Invisible Man as much as other people did. I liked it. If I watched the movie randomly on a streaming service one day, I'd probably say, oh, it was a pretty good movie. But I just wasn't blown away by it like some people were. I honestly, probably the most intriguing film I've watched this February was I watched Dark Waters on Blu-ray the other day. And it sort of opens up your mind. And if you watch the film Dark Waters, it will make you just want to drink out of a can for the rest of your life because public water is very scary, people. You need it. You don't want to drink it. It's laced with chemicals. Avoid it at all costs. And the film the film Dark Waters, if you don't already hate corporations, you definitely will after watching that movie. I love films that sort of have a court case as the main backbone of the film or have a lawsuit going on. I've always really just been fascinated with films like that. Have you seen the indie film Freaks? No, I have not. We Todd did. Thanks for the super chat. What do you think of Tenet? Well, I'm going to give the movie a D. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm waiting this summer just like everyone else. But dude, it's my number one most anticipated film of 2020. I mean, it's directed by Nolan. It looks like Inception to me, like in the same style of Inception. Meets kind of like, I don't know. I have nothing else to compare it to, but it looks awesome. I want to check it out. I'm sort of trying to avoid every other new trailer that comes out. Like, I feel like I know enough about the movie. I'll just watch it this summer. Damn 5271, thanks for the super chat. Arnie. You want me to do an Arnie voice? Okay. Who is your daddy and what does he do? Is that, I know it wasn't very good. Yeah. Rob K, what's the goriest movie you've ever seen? Well, thanks, Rob K, for becoming a member. Goriest movie I've ever seen, man. I'm trying to. Sometimes the goriest film doesn't always translate to like the most graphic film to me. Sometimes there's films that visually do something more to me than if there's just a whole bunch of guts flying at the screen. Sometimes it's just, if you want to go gory, what is, I forget the name of it. Why do I always forget the name of this film? Let me think. German film X. I will find it real quick. I got to look it up. I want to say it starts with a V or something. I watched it one time for the sake of watching it. You guys, okay? It's a very independent film. It's a German film. I think it was made in like the early 2000s. It's very graphic. Maybe you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a scene with a fire extinguisher. You guys know what I'm talking about? Irreversible. Is that it? Is that it? I don't remember. That was probably like one of the most graphic films I ever watched. Thoughts on the new Bat Batmobile? Right at the beginning of this stream, I did cover that for a second. But if you want my deep dive on the new Batmobile, I put up a brand new movie news video over on the Flick Pick channel talking all about the new Batmobile for 5 minutes. I dig it. I do. I like it. I like the direction they're going, and I think that new Batmobile is perfectly the right Batmobile for the tone of this movie, right? That Batmobile wouldn't have been the right tone for, Ben Affleck driving it, or Michael Keaton's Batman. But for this version of Batman, that's the Batmobile I want to see. Yeah, Irreversible. Yeah, so that was the title. I think that's probably one of the most graphic films I've ever seen. That's a film that just makes you feel like uneasy and a little bit dirty inside. Favorite Pixar film? I would probably go with Toy Story. It's always going to have a friend in me. Best movie theater experience. Funny you asked that question because it's on my list of videos to make, which is a very long list that seems like I never get to, but I do have a video where I want to talk about my best and worst movie theater experiences. I have a lot of good ones I want to share with you guys. I will tell you this one. I think this would technically be one of the worst theater experiences. It was when I went to see the Casino Royale, actually. I remember this. Someone asked, or I think the heat in the theater was broken, and they turned the thermostat up to like 110 degrees. And we're watching the film, and it's a very long movie. And halfway through the film, me and my friends are like profusely sweating. We're drenched, covered in sweat, like we're sitting in a sauna. And my one friend, I looked over and he took his shirt off, and we're just sitting in the theater watching the movie. And there was nobody else in the theater except for us. But that was I don't know if that was one of the best or worst experiences, but it was definitely a memorable one. Zack Stamp, the movie man. Thanks for becoming a member. I think I already read that, but I just saw it again. All right. Waiting for some of these to catch up here, guys. Are you going to watch The Way Back? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe, I guess. I do want to see it. Listen, I like Ben Affleck. I've always really liked him as an actor. I like the director, Gavin O'Connor. So yeah, I might go to the theater to watch it. And if it's good enough or it moves me emotionally, I might do a review, but I'm not rushing out to see it instantaneously, I feel like there's other videos and other things I need to get done before that. Friends versus The Office. I definitely go with The Office. I never was a diehard Friends TV show guy. Like, in the 1990s, I would probably watch, like, Married with Children over Friends any day. Worst Spielberg film. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Come on. That's an easy one. Claudio Rogajon. Thanks for the super chat, man. Do you like Kevin Smith movies? I do like Kevin Smith movies, and there's a lot of movies by Kevin Smith I don't like, but a lot that I love. Like the Clerks movies, absolutely love them. The new the new Jay and Silent Bob reboot film. Well, I did a review talking about how much I disliked that movie and how much of a disappointment I thought it was. But yeah, I liked the first Jay and Silent Bob movie, and I like a lot of other Askew universe films. Like Chasing Amy or Mallrats, or but by far my favorite is the first Clerks movie, and I'm looking forward to Clerks 3. Can't wait. Brian Mack, thanks for the super chat, man. What is your favorite Tarantino character, including True Romance? Thanks for all the great work over the years, John. You are a legend. Well, thanks, Brian. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I'm glad you included True Romance in there, because I do like Christian Slater a lot. What was his name in True Romance? Christian Slater, True Romance. What was his name? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. People always told me many years ago I kind of look like Christian Slater. Do you guys kind of see a little bit of a Christian Slater in there? I don't know. My favorite Tarantino film was probably... I'm honestly right now I'm going to go with Django Unchained as currently my favorite Tarantino movie. Then Pulp Fiction right after that. Then probably The Hateful Eight, which I think is extremely underrated. Then I'm going to go with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood after that. Damn 5271. You still gym and lift? Look at that. Okay, that's enough. Yeah, man, I go occasionally, not as much as I used to. I don't currently live in a gym like I used to like 4 years ago. I look a little more human, less bloated, less puffy, and I kind of prefer the way I look now. It looks more natural, and I'm not like this the whole time. And yeah, I still go to the gym. I do need to, I did take a break from the gym, I guess, over this last year, more so than ever before. And I'm definitely not where I want to be, but I need to get back in the gym and, get back in there and listen to some Hans Zimmer music and pick up some heavy shit, man. So yeah, I still go though, just not as often as I used to. All right. Claudio, thanks for the super chat. Once again, Snyder is teasing his cut again. I'm sick of this. Yeah, that Snyder cut, man. It's never gonna go away, is it? It's like, just release it, man. Listen, if your cut is basically just concept images, right? That's not a cut. That's a whole bunch of pictures you have of a film that technically wasn't filmed. So release it or don't release it. At this point, I don't care. And I think if Warner Brothers and HBO do team up to make their streaming service, which I think they're supposed to release that streaming service like next year, so we'll have 87 different streaming services. I think the smartest thing for them to do as original content for that streaming service would be to inject like $40 million into the Snyder Cut, finish the movie, release the Snyder Cut, make it how they intended it to be, and release that as an exclusive on that streaming service, which would be cheaper than starting from scratch and making an original film like Netflix does. That's what I would say to do. Good or bad, it'll definitely get a lot of eyeballs and subscriptions for the streaming service. So, hey, there you go, Warner Brothers streaming service. That's my $1 million idea for you. Hi, I am We Todd Did. That is a very confusing name. Thanks for the super chat. What got you into lifting? Just curious. Honestly, this back in 2011, if you go watch some of my videos, I look like a mutated little alien boy who's malnourished and needs to eat more protein. And I just got really sedentary in life and I was shriveling away. And I remember watching my videos one day and I was like, ew, that's what I look like. I don't feel like that. And I didn't look like that like 4 years prior in high school when I was a little more active. So I just didn't want to be scrawny. I was just shriveling away. I looked like pre-super soldier serum Captain or Steve Rogers, and that's not a good look. So I remember just hitting the gym one day. It was out of boredom and it was out of necessity, and once I started doing it, I became instantly addicted. I saw results within a couple of weeks, and a few months I saw a lot of results, and then I just never looked back. So yeah. The next one comes from Russ Rogers, thoughts on Green Room, one of my favorite films. Yeah, I like Green Room. I watched it one time. I thought the actor's name, Picard. Why do I forget his name? I forget his. I thought he was great in it, and it was one of the last roles of the young actor who died. I'm forgetting people's names right now. But yeah, I liked Green Room. It was like a nice sort of indie film. I did like it. It was brutal too. I sort of forgot about that movie until now. Mr. Drown 73. Thanks for the super chat, man. But no message. But thank you. I appreciate that. Let's keep going here. Answer some more questions for you guys. Anton Yelchin. That's it. Yeah, and it's a shame, man, because he was like an up and coming actor, and he too soon, much like Heath Ledger, just too soon. Clubba Lang versus Ivan Drago. I must break you. I'm gonna go with Ivan Drago, man. That's my dude. I love Ivan Drago. I love everything about him. He has one of the best workout montages in all of existence. When he's working out and he's going, I love it. Favorite TV theme song. The funniest, I've always wanted to do this, and I probably will in some vlog videos eventually. If you take the Seinfeld theme song where it goes like that little beat, and you add it to anything, it makes everything hysterical. Probably the theme from Seinfeld. Sin Stellar, you're one of my favorite. I'm sorry, I can't read. You're one of my biggest inspirations ever. Greetings from Honduras. Well, thanks, man, and hope it's going well in Honduras. And thank you for that. I want to see Mr. T talk trash to Drago now. You hear me, Drago? You hear me? I'm coming for you, sucker. I'm coming for you. Yeah, that'd be great. Favorite Keanu Reeves film? Oh man, Point Break. Point Break is in my top 5 favorite movies of all times, and his character's name is Johnny Utah. I love it. I think that's my favorite. I also really like Keanu Reeves in Speed as well. The Matrix is, I would say maybe from a critical standpoint, The Matrix might be Keanu's best film, but I like him in Point Break. Russ Rogers, thoughts on Trainspotting? I've always enjoyed Trainspotting. It's a movie that makes you never want to pick up a bad habit, if you know what I mean. And I like the one scene where he's left in a room and he has to puke in a bucket, and he's giving his narration. He's like, bucket for vomitus. I like that. Thoughts on The Walking Dead? Dude, I used to love it. Then it became a melodrama, and it just became hard to watch after like season 3. And I watched season 4 and 5, and I think part of 6 and whatever. And then it got to the point where they had the one season where the guy had the actual lion that sat beside him. And that's where I was just like, I'm done. I don't care anymore. Goodbye. David Dillon. David Dillon, I want to give you a big hug, John. Well, David, I want to give you a big hug too. And thank you for the super chat, man. Jay the Movie Maker. John, I have been waiting 7 years for a Jaws in My Pool sequel. Can you give us any updates? It's currently filming. It's being produced by James Cameron and directed by Steven Spielberg, which is the reason he opted out of Indiana Jones 5. Spoilers, I broke the movie news here. So Jaws in My Pool, man. I think that's a one-off. There's going to be no sequels. Just me 8 years ago in my mother's swimming pool with a plastic toy shark, swimming, making noises as my neighbors looked through their windows, judging me. Never again. Shiva the Tiger. That's the name of the... Oh, it was a tiger? Yeah, I thought it was a lion. Either way. Walking Violence. Can you threaten my life as Mark Wahlberg? Oh, man. Is that what you want? Is that what you need? Hey, if you don't come over here right now, I'm going to kick you in the teeth and stab you in the ass. There you go. Well, I don't know what that was. I'm sorry. Danny Elfman or Hans Zimmer for Batman music. Listen, I know a lot of people might go with Danny Elfman as that classic Batman theme, and dude, I love it as much as the next guy. That original Batman theme when I was a kid made me like put on a towel and jump around on the furniture, and I truly felt like Batman. And I actually still do that nowadays. I did it just 2 days ago. But with that said, for me, Zimmer, like the Zimmer music is like instantly more, I can listen to it in the gym. I can listen to it in the car. It's so motivational. It might not be as iconic as the Elfman theme, but man, it's good stuff. And I actually, I think Batman Begins and the soundtrack from The Dark Knight Rises are my favorite. Some of the score in The Dark Knight, some of it has like this annoying, like, I get what they were going for. They wanted like this chaotic sound for the Joker, but it's just like annoying to listen to as just like a standalone score. Do you know what I'm talking about? If you listen to the Dark Knight score, some of it's just like loud noises that progressively get louder. So. Jay the Movie Maker, is there any possibility for a spinoff? Maybe Jaws in my bathtub. I've already done Jaws in my bathtub. I've done that. What kind of music do you listen to, John? I like metal music. I like epic metal music that has like an opera-esque vibe to it. Yeah. So if you can give me that, I like any metal music really. I like Five Finger Death Punch. I typically only listen to music when I'm in the gym, but when I'm doing work at my computer or typing up notes or editing pictures or working in Photoshop, I like to listen to like epic scores. And what I do for that is I just go to YouTube and I type in like epic music, and I listen to like a 3-hour long culmination of all these different music soundtracks put together. Russ Rogers, have you seen 8mm 2? I have not seen 8mm 2, but I do love the original 8mm. What'd it do? It get you off or something? Russ Rogers, do you watch the Sardonicast? If so, would you like to be on the show? Sure, I'd be a guest on there any day, man. Yeah, I've only listened to like one episode, but yeah, I liked it. I like all the guys on it. Thoughts on Zootopia? I thought Zootopia was okay. A lot of people love that film, and I watched it, and I was like, it's okay. I don't love it. Like, if I'm gonna watch like a CGI Disney animated film, this isn't going to be the one I go to or my favorite. But yeah, I thought it was fun. It's an okay movie. Thoughts on the future of Marvel? I don't know. I'm sort of just burnt out on Marvel at this point. You know, I'm just like, when it comes to Marvel, I just want to see what they do with the X-Men universe. Like, that's what I'm excited for. As far as like the Avengers and that entire group of characters, after Endgame, I felt like they sort of just blew their load, and I need a break from it. But I want them to go with the X-Men universe. That's what gets me excited. I heard 8mm is terrible. No. The first 8mm with Nicolas Cage back in 1999. No, man. That's a dark, seedy movie. Like, you gotta watch it. I love it. It's really good. It has Joaquin Phoenix as a supporting actor in the film. I recommend watching it. But it has to be at the right time. And you have to be alone. It's one of those movies. Jay the Movie Maker. Who would you cast as a live-action Scuba Steve? Oh, man. Robert Downey Jr. There you go. If you don't know who Scuba Steve is, you don't want to know. Claudio Rogajan, why did Steven Spielberg opt out? There's no official statement. I think he gave some kind of like odd excuse, maybe, if I remember correctly. Maybe he didn't. I think he said something about like scheduling. I don't know. I know he's going to remain on as a producer. I just think creatively he wasn't into Indiana Jones 5 anymore, or the character, and maybe he might have thought, whoa, I don't know if I want to attempt to redeem myself, or what if I make another Indiana Jones film, and why go through the trouble of people complaining? I'm not quite sure. But the fact that he's handing it over to someone else because he might not be into it anymore, I think that's a really good decision, which makes me even more excited to check out the movie. So no one really knows. Do you think Harrison Ford... the questions are going too quick. I lost it. I think you said, is Harrison Ford too old to play Indiana Jones? And no, you make a story that fits his age. It's easy as that. George Lucas should direct? No, thank you. Do not let George Lucas. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, the storyline was George Lucas's idea. We're good. Let's pass on that. Justin Cordero, thanks for the super chat, man. Megadeth or Metallica? Oh, man. I don't know. Actually, Metallica. Metallica would probably be my pick. That was one of the first CDs I ever picked up, was a Metallica CD. It was Master of Puppets. It was the first CD I ever owned. And when I remember listening to it, and it had like Sanitarium on it, and it had Master of Puppets. And when I heard Master of Puppets for the first time, I was like, that is metal music. I love it. I want more of it. So that's what I remember mostly about that. Let me check through here. I don't want to miss any of these old questions. Yeah, I don't think I am. Okay. I didn't want to miss any questions. But I know somehow, some way I will. Gabe Kelly. Hey, John, my wife and I love you 3000. Well, thank you for that. I love you 3000 as well. If you could only watch one movie for the rest of your life, what would it be and why? Can anyone guess on the movie? I'll give you a hint. It's over there. Over the top. 1987. No, honestly, if I could rewatch one movie for the rest of my life, it's hard to say. It really is. It'd have to be a culmination of a lot of movies. I'll tell you one movie that always like brings me to my happy, feel good place that just makes any day better, right? It's one of those movies. Like Back to the Future Part 2. That's a movie that just makes me happy. Like, it has all these different fun elements in it. When they take the little pizza and the dehydrated pizza and it expands and they eat it. Like, I like things like that. When they go to the future, I enjoy that. So I don't know. Maybe, like, Back to the Future 2 always comes to mind when I just want to think of like a fun movie to watch. All right, let's keep going here. Sorry, a lot of windows opened. Let's close this one. All right. Thoughts on Ghostbusters Afterlife? Looking forward to it. After the abomination against humanity, known as Ghostbusters 2016, I'm looking forward to this. It looks like a real movie. It looks like a real Ghostbusters movie. And the fact that Paul Rudd's in it, I have some theories, some speculations. I don't want to give those away, but I like it, and I have a really good feeling that some of the original cast members are definitely going to return. I dig it. It sort of has like a Stranger Things vibe, so that works for me. Gambit X, Mortal Kombat, or Max Payne. Max Payne's an atrocious video game movie. Mortal Kombat is my favorite video game movie of all time. I remember going to the theater to see that as a kid like 3 times. Mr. DVB, Billy's theme with Be Like 9 Months Old Now for Bond. Yeah, the theme song for the new Bond movie is going to be super old by the time it comes out. It's kind of one of those things where I think a lot of people might just lose the anticipation by next November. Or maybe the movie will do way better. At this point, it's just like, what can you do? At least we'll have kind of a cool movie to watch next November. I think next, but I think they're waiting a little too long. Like I think a summer release would have been sufficient. Night King 01. How many times a month do you watch Roadhouse? At least 57 times. The name's Dalton. I love Roadhouse. I love it. I love it. It's such a guilty pleasure movie, but it's one of those movies that when you grow up watching over and over on beta tape, you want to become Patrick Swayze one day. Russ Rogers, on the topic of music, do you like punk? It depends what kind of punk music it is. Like, it just depends. I like when there's two different music genres sort of blended together. That's like my favorite. Don't Bond films usually release in the fall anyways? Typically, but didn't... A few of them did release in the summertime, didn't they? I think... I feel like one or two of them released around the summer. Didn't the second or... I don't remember anymore. I know a few of them released at random times. But yeah, November is not a bad month. It just sucks that we have to wait 7 months. Inside Lauren's brain, worst movie poster you've ever seen. Good question. That was actually a Patreon question I was going to answer for Patreon this month. Here's my thing with movie posters. I think the least aesthetically pleasing ones are the ones whenever you have floating heads. Whenever you have just floating heads on the movie poster, that's a bad movie poster. Do not do that. But for me, I know there's some really bad movie posters, and like, if you guys want to comment some right now that you think are atrocious to look at, I'll talk about them. But I will tell you my favorite movie poster, and that is, I love aesthetically the way that the Dark Knight poster looks. I love everything about that. And as a graphic designer, or a guy who has a degree in graphic design, I think that's an amazing poster. Like, I love, you have Batman right there. You have the main focal point. In the background, you have a city, or I like posters that have skylines in the background. You have the symbol. I love the color. It has like that blue, teal, orangey look to it, which is a really popular trend, or it was a popular trend when it came to movie posters. And then you have the logo down there. The one thing about that poster, it's always bugged me just a little bit. If you read The Dark Knight, it's not, the dark part isn't centered with the logo of the bat symbol. So this is one little thing that's always bothered me. The Justice League poster sucks. You know, I thought there was one okay Justice League poster where it sort of looked like the iconic old comic book cover. Where it was like their heads, but it was shadowy and they were all standing there side by side. I thought that was an okay poster. But yeah, for me, I like artistic posters. I like posters that look like they're illustrative, like the Indiana Jones posters, or like the original Star Wars posters. I like posters that look like that. Working on a Parasite review yet? Yes, I am. I spoke about that maybe like an hour ago. I will have a big Parasite review coming. I'm actually going to have a movie night style video where we eat popcorn and we watch Parasite on this huge projector that I just got from LG. So yeah, look out for that. The old Bond posters were amazing. I do recall a few of them. Yeah, they were very clean and simplistic. Yeah, I do like the Bond posters. Fast and Furious 8's poster was bad. Yes, it was. Favorite scene in the Dark Knight trilogy? Good question. Where do I start with that? The poison. I'm poison. Where Batman's in the back seat as Alfred's driving him. Not my favorite scene, but I just thought I'd do that randomly. I think in Batman Begins, there was a lot of inspiring scenes. Like the one scene where he looks at Ra's al Ghul and he's like, I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you either. And he jumps out of the back of the subway car. I liked that. In The Dark Knight, man, it's too hard to pick one. It's just too hard. Jaws poster is freaking classic. Yes, the Jaws poster, in my opinion, is probably one of the best posters ever made. Along with that, the Back to the Future poster is also one of the best posters ever made because I like simplistic posters. I like when you just have the main subject and you have a background. Like, that's what I like, and both those posters do that. Also, another one that does that exact same theme is the Taxi Driver poster, the one where De Niro is standing in front of the taxi cab, which I love, which the Taxi Driver poster and the poster from Nightcrawler where Gyllenhaal standing in front of his Dodge Charger. Very similar posters, right? But yeah, I like posters like that. Joker blowing up the hospital. Good scene. Pretty good scene. Yes, I agree. The 80s used to have the best posters. I agree. And you want to know why the 80s had great posters? It's because they had real artists making the posters, and then you had Photoshop and a lot of digital manipulation. And when you start digitizing your posters, that art is lost. And I think that's why we lost that look for so many years. I have the Nightcrawler poster with Jake's whole face. Yeah, that's one poster, but I have the one where you have Jake Gyllenhaal standing to the side and you see his vehicle in the back. That's my personal favorite. Killing younglings? Oh yes, he did. Yeah, there was a I forgot about that. Thoughts on the new Mutants, a movie that's been delayed for like 4 years. I'm looking forward to it, but I'll believe it when I see it. At this point, I don't think anyone's going to care, and it feels like they should just release it directly to Netflix. All right, huge act, man. Thanks for the super chat, buddy. So do you think the new Ghostbusters will be a crossover with Ant-Man and all the ghosts come from the quantum realm? I get it because Paul Rudd's in it, but probably not. And one's owned by Sony, so definitely not. Yeah, okay. I was making sure I didn't miss something there. Thoughts on Ridley Scott's Last Duel? Sounds cool. I'm surprised they're making an entire movie about it. You know, I've read the true story, which it's based on real events, and it's essentially the last duel that ever took place in, I think, France, right? So the time period sounds really cool. I'm looking forward to it. It's a Ridley Scott movie. I just wish Ridley Scott would direct Gladiator Part 2 or something, or, you know, make another Prometheus sequel. But yeah, I'm curious. Hey, John, please say hi, Bruce. Hi, Bruce. Thoughts on The Fanatic? Moose is in the house. Yeah, The Fanatic might just have a place on my top 10 worst movies of the year. Oh, gosh. John Travolta, what have you done? What have you done? And doesn't it blow anyone else's mind that Fred Durst directed a film that had millions and millions of dollars as a budget to have John Travolta do that performance? Like, that movie got greenlit. That was made. How? Why? Someone explain it to me. I want to understand. Mason Arnold, thanks for the super chat, Mason. I do appreciate it. All right, guys, I'm going to read some super chats that I missed last week, and sometimes they go so quick. If I ever do miss your super chats, which, by the way, thank you for the support. It does mean a lot. I will always get to it eventually, I promise. Jacob Jose last week asked, from Holland, do you have any digibooks? I do have a few digibooks. I have One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. A few others. I have the Big Lebowski digibook, which I really like. Russ Rogers asks, do you like Sicario? I love Sicario. Absolutely love it. I even like the sequel. I own both of them, but I actually don't own Sicario in 4K, but I own Day of Soldado in 4K, which is why. I don't know. Joshua Garrison, looking forward to the Candyman. Yeah, watching the trailer for Candyman, I did enjoy it. I instantly, when I started watching the new Candyman trailer, I thought to myself, this looks like Get Out, right? It's like the exact same tone, and then you see who it's produced by, and you're like, okay, this makes sense now. And that formula, I think, working for Get Out should translate very well to Candyman, which is like the perfect opportunity to use that same formula. So I'm looking forward to it. Bryce Nolan. Hey, John, love your videos. They changed my life. You're the funniest guy and always make me happy and forget my stress and issues in life. Well, thanks. Thanks, Bryce. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I try to do that. You know, no matter how shitty of a day I'm having, I never want to bring that stuff to YouTube. And that's why you guys never, that's why there's a lot of gaps in making videos, right? I want to be genuine as possible when I make my videos. So I do appreciate that. And I try to make my energy contagious. So yeah. Jeremy Cattle, Good Night Studios. Thoughts on Halloween Kills? Thanks for the super chat. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Listen, I'm looking forward to any new time Michael Myers comes back onto the big screen. Now, as far as the last Halloween film goes, I was disappointed. Like, a lot of good ideas, right? But a lot of bad ones. Some very bad ideas that I'm just hoping that they correct and streamline to the next movie. But I'm looking forward to it, man. And I've heard some rumors about the story, and I'm hoping they go that route. And I've heard that the third movie that they're going to film a few months after Halloween Kills, which will be the third film in this new trilogy, will take place in a large city, Chicago, I believe. And that could be really great, or it could be sort of like Jason Takes Manhattan. So either way, it could be entertaining. Carter Lovejoy, can I declare Stuckflick as a shipping name for you and Stuckman? As a shipping name? Sure. Yes. You actually, no, you can't. And if you do, if you copyright that, I want 10% for every time you use the name. But yes, you may. I don't think I actually get the name. I don't get it though. A shipping name? Stuckflick, I guess. Hey, John, what's up? Longtime subscriber. Hey there, buddy. How's it going? Well, thank you for subscribing. Yeah, my goal with this channel, my second channel, John Flickinger, is I want to get this channel to over 100,000 subscribers. It's time to do that, and if I consistently make videos, I think we should get there. It's time. It's time, okay? Subscribe to the channel. If you know someone, make them subscribe as well. All right, let me continue on with some old Super Chat questions here, because I leave no man behind. Zepsy Cinema, villain you want to see in the new Batman trilogy? Well, I would like to see a new incarnation of Bane, and I'd actually like them to cast someone. Listen, Tom Hardy was a good Bane, but you know, he's like 5'9". Get a guy who's huge but can also act, play the new incarnation of Bane, and I think that would be great. And I think a new Bane in this new Robert Pattinson universe of Batman films could be really intriguing. I'd like to see that. I at one point would have said Black Mask, but how they handled that with Birds of Prey, I no longer think that's on the table. So yeah. Popcorn Planet. Thanks for the super chat, Andy. Predator or Alien? Let's bring back MVM, movie versus movie. Oh man, yeah. I don't know if you guys remember, many years ago, over on the Screen Junkies premium network, I did a show called Movie versus Movie, which was really fun and was really cool. I miss doing that. It was a cool opportunity. But yeah, Predator or Alien? Man, I'm going to go with Predator. They're hunters. They specialize in hunting and killing, and aliens are xenomorphs who like to spit acid and lay eggs. So I'm going to go with the Predator. I think the Predator wins. Now, from a movie standpoint, I'd still probably go with Predator. Do it now! You know? But then again, most people like the first Alien. They love Alien. I like it. Like the genre, the tone of that's more of a horror science fiction film. Aliens for me is my personal favorite. You know, it went the action route and it was just more fun. I like whenever you have a group of soldier badasses team up to take down a threat, and that's what they did in Aliens. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Predator. In a fight, the Predator wins. Horror movie hustle. Hey John, just started a podcast on my new horror movie review channel, and I wanted to know if you had any advice. Well, when it comes, I talked about some YouTube advice earlier, but when it comes to a podcast, podcasts are blowing up right now, man. Just, you know, make it fun, make it topical. If you want to get more views on your podcast, release it on YouTube. Maybe put it in different segments rather than upload a 3-hour podcast. Maybe upload like a 10-minute segment specifically talking about something. So, for example, like I just talked about the new Halloween Kills movie. If you want to take your podcast and take a clip of that and talk about like Halloween Kills, upload it to YouTube and tell people to go check out your podcast to check out the whole thing. That could be one way to do it. But yeah, good luck with your podcast. And by the way, if you do upload a podcast to YouTube, put some visuals on there. Like that would be my recommendation. Either have video of yourself talking or have a lot of visual references to whatever you're talking about. Because if it's just a static screen, it's sort of hard to be engaged with that. John Cena was clearly the Invisible Man. Yeah, you know what's funny? I was going to make that obligatory joke in my Invisible Man movie review, but I was like, 800 other people are going to do this. So, all right, trying to keep up with the super chats here. Sorry. All right, the next one that I missed last week comes from, sorry, I can't read. Brevin Thompson, Movies and Games. Advice on advertising my channel. Yeah, Brennan Thompson, Movies and Games. Yeah, man, you just got to make a lot of videos. Stay topical, pump out the videos, and, you know, find a niche and master that niche. Master the muffin. Can you estimate how many DVDs and Blu-rays you have? No, I cannot. But what I can do is you can go watch my newest Blu-ray collection video, which I put out last August or September, and you can count every single one of them. And then you can watch my DVD entire collection video from like 4 years or 5 years before that and count every single one and then add them up. I'm not a mathematician, but yeah, you should get a pretty close answer by then. Give or take like 30 or 40 movies. Claudio Rogajon, I always mispronounce your name, and I'm so sorry. You hear DC Comics possibly shutting down. I did not hear that. I just don't think a lot of people read comic books anymore. I really don't. Maybe that's the problem, or it's mishandled. I'm not quite sure why it would be shutting down. I knew nothing about that, but I don't know anyone who actually reads comic books. I know people who collect them. But as far as like reading them or picking up new issues, I don't know anyone who does that. Can you please do a British accent? Show me your pinches, you wanker. Hey, Mom, turn on the telly. Is that? I know it's bad. Please don't judge me. Hey, John, remember when you and Crazy Jason reviewed Alien in Walmart? Good times. Yes, I specifically remember that. And by the way, guys, I'm going to take a few more questions for like the next 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. And then I'm going to say goodnight to all of you because I'm all out of energy drinks. Yeah, but I actually do remember, if you watch my Alien Covenant flip trip video, we did part of that review in Walmart, and some random guys came up to us and asked us where to find parts for our weed whacker. And we pretended like we worked at Walmart, and we showed them. But yeah, that was a good time. Russ Rogers, have you seen In Bruges? With Colin Farrell? Yeah, In Bruges, right? In Bruges with Colin Farrell? Yeah, I did see that. Yes, I've seen In Bruges. In Bruges, Whatever. Yeah, I did watch it. I liked it. I don't remember a lot about it because I think I watched it in like 2010, maybe. All right. I have lost over 600 pounds without surgery. Now I'm trying to build muscle, but it's going slow. Any suggestions? Listen, I'm not a personal trainer. You know, for me, when I started working out, I had the opposite. I sort of had, I was really skinny and scrawny and I needed to get bulky and big. So if you lost all your weight, I would say start with cardio, tighten up your body, and build muscle, right? So if you lost weight, you probably have a little bit of extra skin, and hey, that's okay. But good job on losing that weight, man. But right now, if you want to fill out and look fuller, and you know, lift up the sag and tighten everything up, you got to build muscle mass, and that's what I would recommend doing. So go to the gym, have a clean diet, just build muscle. You know, work out all the different muscle groups, give it time, and you'll get to where you need to be. All right, double checking some questions here. All right. I just don't want to miss questions. I always get accused of doing it, and it makes me feel so guilty and dirty. Do you believe in aliens? Technically, yes. I think you have to believe in aliens, right? An extraterrestrial being somewhere out there in the universe? The universe is a big place. There's got to be life form out there somewhere, and if there is, that's technically an alien. So, yeah, absolutely. Are you seeing Onward? Yeah, I do want to check out Onward. It just hasn't come out yet. There was a lot of early screenings. I didn't get one of the early screenings, and I do want to check it out. It looks good. I've heard good things about it. Mason Arnold, thank you for the super chat. What do you think of the music for Invisible Man? You know, the score to me I don't remember it necessarily standing out a lot, but that's also a good thing. Don't take that as a negative. I remember a lot of it. I remember some suspenseful scenes. Excuse me. The score worked, but I don't remember a lot about the score. Like, I'd have to go back and re-listen to it. But I remember it fitting the tone of the movie, but I don't specifically remember anything. Night King 01, thank you for the super chat. Over the Top or Roadhouse? That's a tough one. Both guilty pleasure movies. I love both of them. Gosh, they both have so many over the top, no pun intended, moments in there where you just laugh, you cry, and you just enjoy it, and it makes you feel so manly with all the testosterone flowing and roundhouse kicks and arm wrestling with baby oil. It's hard to say, man. I think I probably have honestly rewatched Roadhouse more than Over the Top. But I enjoy both of them. It's too hard to pick just one. If I had to recommend watching one movie and really standing up for it, I'd probably go with Over the Top. Hey, I don't know, Mikey, you know. Hey, it ain't about being the best, it's about doing your best. That's great life advice, it really is. And then you also have the quote from Roadhouse, pain don't hurt. It does. Anyway. Have a good night, John. See you next time. What time is it over there? I'm in Central Time. So, yeah, it's like 10:50. It's almost 11 o'clock. All right, guys. So if you have a question, one more question, type it in right now. I will answer it before I go. But other than that, I think that's going to wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And before I go, make sure you check out my brand new movie news video over on the Flickpick channel, talking all about the new Batmobile, my thoughts. That's a good time. And you might not have seen that video because I know the subscription feed was broken on YouTube earlier today, because it's always something. It's just always, there always has to be a technical problem. And big thanks to everyone who joined me as a member here on YouTube. I do appreciate it. And if you guys want to join me on Patreon for a special Patreon-only Q&A, which I also do on the YouTube member thing as well, and the exclusive Flickbuster podcast, which comes out, a new episode should be coming out later this week. And we actually just introduced the video version of the podcast. So yeah, you can either download the podcast and listen to it whenever you want to, in the gym, in your car, it doesn't matter. Or you can watch my stupid face for 2 hours as we talk about movies, and we do a new topic every podcast, and we also take listener questions and we discuss those topics as well. And the podcast right now is one of my favorite things I currently do creatively. It's just so fun to sit there and talk about movies, and just, I don't know. I enjoy it, and people enjoy it. So yeah, if you want to check that out, check out my Patreon. If not, no big deal. All right, I'm going to answer like 2 more questions because I have to. I got to do it. Love your videos, man. Well, thank you. You really want to know my thoughts on Hacksaw Ridge? I have a review. I still share the same thoughts on it. I haven't watched the movie Hacksaw Ridge though since it came out. You asked that 15 times. I want to know why. Have a good night, Mr. Brown. All right. I love you, John. Well, thanks, Nerds Related. I love you too. Yes, Popcorn Planet, Andy. Thank you. Thank you for the support, Andy. Street Sharks, the live action movie. Absolutely. It makes me wonder why we haven't gotten that yet. That could be an amazing movie. Mutated guys who go around the streets on rollerblades who turn into sharks. Why haven't we seen that yet? That could be the worst movie ever made or the best movie ever made. Russ Rogers, thank you. Thoughts on Weird Science. And by the way, guys, not to keep plugging my shit, but I'll do it one more time. If you do become a member here, you get my little cool emojis for becoming a member on YouTube. So that's why I'm noticing every single one of Russ Rogers' questions, because it's hard to keep up with 87,000 questions scrolling by. Thoughts on Weird Science. That is one of the quintessential 80s films that, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. After watching Weird Science as a kid, I took my cousin's Barbie dolls and I tried to make them come to life. That's all I'm going to say. Take that how you will. Don't get weird. I have not seen Jojo Rabbit yet. I have not seen that movie yet. All right. Mason Arnold asked what I think about The Invisible Man. I talked about that. I have a movie review all about it. So if you want to check it out, go check it out. I liked it. I didn't love the movie, but I thought it was good. All right, guys. John, have you seen Knives Out? I actually have the Blu-ray. I'm going to go watch it after this so I can do my Blu-ray update video. I need to watch every movie in it so I can talk about it, and that's the next one I'm going to watch, so I'm looking forward to it. Did you watch Ford v Ferrari? I did indeed watch Ford v Ferrari. Quote Whiplash. If you give a retard a calculator, he'll try to turn on the TV with it. How's that for a quote? All right, guys. As always, thank you guys so much for joining me for the live stream. Hope you enjoyed this week's live stream episode of the Flick Pick Show. We covered a whole bunch of movie news. I answered your random questions. I hope you ate some popcorn along the way. And by this point, your delicious, tasty cold beverage with those 3 ice cubes have probably melted. But I think it's time to go, guys. Good night. Thank you for watching. And if you could, before you leave, it really does help that stupid YouTube algorithm. If you can give the video a thumbs up, it's very much appreciated. Just click the thumbs up button. Just click it. Click it now. Alrighty, guys. Thank you for watching. And yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for now. As always, guys, I'll see you next time.